I saw the first helicopter land. It was immediately to my right. It was the Park Police Eagle. He landed on the road itself that was going up into the Arlington area. As I saw the actual pilots and crew start to motion, I turned to my right again and saw a severely burned patient on a gurney pass me. I couldn't tell who he was. He was burned that badly. He had no shirt, and he was moving his hands. I'm thinking maybe either in shock or what. One of the first, and I believe one of the only patients that was medevac that day that survived. And I do believe I have his name somewhere. It's Carlos, I believe, something. There were articles written about him and his recovery later on. About the time I was filming him being loaded into the ambulance, I heard a crunch and looked back to my left, and the Pentagon, actually the floors were collapsing right across from where I was standing. The video that I was able to get of that shows the debris and the smoke coming away from the building as it's being pushed away.
Let's go back to Dave, who is at the Pentagon site. Dave?
Hey, I just heard another explosion of some sort. Now, it could be a secondary explosion here from something happening, but we just heard a loud pop just as you were coming to me. It seemed to be on the east of here. I can't tell what it is. It might be something that's secondary to this, because we had a number of small explosions after the fire occurred.
Dave, we understood there was construction. The area that was struck by the plane and what's on fire, was that the area under construction, so maybe there weren't a lot of people in that area?
There is, yeah, there's toward the south end of this area, there are construction trailers, I can say that. But I can't tell you for sure if this area would be sparsely populated. We're actually being asked to move back by Virginia State Police a little bit. We're going to try to keep this location as much as possible. The reason they asked us to move back is because, of course, they're concerned about any secondary explosions. I can tell you from my experience as a firefighter, there's still a great deal of fire inside the Pentagon by the smoke that's coming out of there. I'm sure firefighters are inside making sure first that they can get everybody out that they can, and then trying to attack the fire inside. They've also had fire, of course, on the outside that probably involved some sort of airplane fuel. That's why it burned it's still burning, in fact, on the south end, on the outside, near those construction trailers. Again, I can't tell you much more other than a loud pop just a few minutes ago that seemed a little bit different than the ones we heard earlier, which were on the outside here that could have been tires or something else. We're just watching also as they're taking another man to the hospital. It looks like it's going to be a medevac, and what I can tell, it looks like he's burned. There seems to be a burn sheet on top of him. Medics are taking him to the U.S. Park Police Eagle helicopter. I think we'll try to get a shot of that. We're going to show you over here on Washington Boulevard. The Eagle helicopter from Park Police is landing, taking this man to the hospital. From my vantage point, it looks like he has burns. We also, besides Arlington Fire and Rescue, see some doctors, what appear to be doctors on the scene. Not sure if they're military or not, who seem to be helping with the injured. As you can see, Virginia State Police are, again, trying to move us back, but I think we've been able to stall them off for the moment. Again, this is the E-ring of the Pentagon. Hold on one second, Mike and Andre. In fact, we're seeing a second man who clearly is burned being sent to that medevac helicopter.
Right behind that truck. Right there.
As you can see, they're rushing him down here. This is a second person we have confirmed has what appears to be very serious burns.
Yes, we can see his hands being burned.
Can you take it back for a second? We need to coordinate something here.
Sure.
I'll be right back with you.
All right. We're just getting across the wire, too. Again, what preceded the Pentagon plane crash was the horrific destruction for landing, but I think after that, everything will be shut down. We're in a lockdown is basically what it is. All government buildings, major government buildings, have been evacuated. We heard from our crews on the scene that the Pentagon has been evacuated. Monuments and museums have been evacuated. Let's go to Frank Herzog, who is near one of the most visible monuments in the city, the Washington Monument. Frank, what do you see? What do you hear?
I'm on the west grounds of the Washington Monument. The area has been completely evacuated by Park Police, and I think I could answer Dave Statter's question about that secondary explosion.
Yes.
It wasn't an explosion. That was the sonic boom of jet fighters that were scrambled out of Andrews Air Force Base, we believe. It wasn't an explosion. That was the sonic boom of jet fighters that were scrambled out of Andrews Air Force Base, we believe. They just circled the Washington area, flying from the east out to the west, and they were in a hurry, and they were high up in the air. So jet fighters, at least one, possibly two, were scrambled, probably as a precautionary measure. Needless to say, downtown Washington, D.C., except for the vehicular traffic, which is bumper to bumper, the rest of the city has been shut down. It looks like a Sunday morning here. The mall is absolutely empty. Park Police came through about 10 minutes ago, evacuated the entire area, and told tourists to go somewhere else. But I can tell you right now that at least one, if not two, jet fighters have been scrambled. They are patrolling the skies over Washington.
Frank Herzog, thank you very much. Let me just read you the lead. The Associated Press lead just came out of New York. First of all, let's check in with Dave Staddard at the Pentagon. Dave?
It collapsed right now. As you can see, I assume you're taking our picture. I do not have a monitor, but right now we just had a middle section here of the E-ring of the Pentagon collapse from the amount of fire and destruction from this. So obviously there was a great deal of damage here. It just collapsed. We don't know who is inside or how many people are inside. You heard somebody, one of the people who was inside the building, talk to us a short time ago and said this E-ring of the Pentagon has a great many senior officials. So if somebody was planning something, this might have been the place if they wanted to get senior officials. Again, most of the fire on the outside of the building has been extinguished. There's still some spot fires on the outside of the building, and still, from what I can see, a great deal of fire inside. So now you have a gaping hole on the west side of the Pentagon here at Washington Boulevard, and this collapse just happened. It was not an explosion, a secondary explosion. This apparently the damage from the great deal of fire and the structural damage from the plane crash.
Any word yet, Dave, on casualties?
Other than seeing the two people we saw medevaced who had serious burns, I can't confirm any others. They've been working on people, but we don't know what's inside that building, to be honest with you.
So
certainly anybody in those windows or in those offices by those windows, you have to be very, very concerned about right now.
All right, Dave Staddard, reporting from the Pentagon. Here you can see from Dave's camera shot several people being escorted out of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is being evacuated, as is the White House, the U.S. Capitol.
Most monuments, museums, the city basically, as you've heard from Frank Herzog and from photojournalist Rick Armstrong near the Washington Monument, closed down. Almost everything is closed down.
As you can see, a portion of the Pentagon has collapsed. This happened after a jet apparently deliberately plowed into the Pentagon.
We have Daniel McAdams on the phone. He is an eyewitness. Daniel, good morning. What did you see and where are you?
I'm here in Arlington, just off of Columbia Pike, probably about 2.5 miles from the Pentagon. And we were sitting in our living room having coffee, and it sounded like a military jet flyover that they do sometimes, you know, a very, very low altitude flyover. And then just a couple of seconds later, we heard a massive boom. All of our doors and windows shook. We went outside, looked out the window, and then saw a plume of smoke.
All right, Daniel, thank you very much. Let's go back to Dave Staddard. Dave, what do you have?
I know, hey, they're evacuating us now. They believe another plane. This could be a rumor, but they're evacuating everybody. Possibility of another plane coming in this direction. Certainly, but this is a major evacuation at the moment. Again, it could all be rumor, but FBI is evacuating everybody out of this area. I've got to go at the moment because they will not let me stay here.
Be safe, be safe. And we heard from Frank Herzog that boom that Dave thought.
In terms of the rescue effort, we have been seeing emergency personnel arriving on the scene ever since this happened. You can see there appears to be, I don't know, John, can you see there's a military some military personnel up here on the ridge. This ridge right here, a lot of people have been coming out of the annex, and a lot of cars have been stopping on the highway, and people have been getting out of their cars, and they've been up on this ridge because you get a pretty good view of what's going on. And you can see that the military personnel are now telling them to get off the ridge, and they're going to be clearing out the area. We're going to try to stay here to keep you on top of what's going on and what we can see from our vantage point, but we'll have to wait and see what the military tells us to do. Back to you all.
Okay, thanks very much, Megan. And I want to give you this Apparently, a portion of the Pentagon has collapsed, according to the Associated Press. Also, according to the Associated Press, this morning, there is a report that General Richard Myers, the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said that prior to the crash into the Pentagon, military officials had been notified that another hijacked plane had been heading from New York area to Washington. He said he assumed that the hijacked plane from New York to Washington was the one that hit the Pentagon. But again, you can see a portion of the Pentagon there has collapsed in that very dramatic picture.
Get back! Get back! The plane is out! This way! This way! Let's go! Back! Get back! Get back! They got another inbound plane! Got it! Everybody get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! move. Someone's up in the air. Keep moving. Keep moving. Let's go. Gotta move.
Get back, get back. You got another plane 20 miles out and they're evacuating everybody.
Hijack that's going in. That's what they said.
Report of another hijacked airplane coming in, a minimum of 500 yards from the Pentagon.
This way?
It's our communications center. Ask for public affairs. You guys gonna need to move back. I want everybody back.
Have you been told that there's another plane coming?
You can contact public affairs or Department of Defense for any type of comments.
I don't want to quote you. I just want to know what's up.
Call that number I gave you.
You got it? Everybody, here it goes. Come on, let's go. What's going on? They're sending us back. Another fire started. Sorry, I'm back. Go ahead. But we're fine. Call Patty if you can. Just call her until you talk to me because I can't get through to her for whatever reason. And try to call Gladys. I got her. Okay, you tell her. Yeah, call me and tell her I'm fine.
Linden 59 line.
Linden.
Hey, do you see anything on track coming at us to the west?
Say again?
Do you see anything on track coming at us at the west? We got reports of a United 757 is going to crash into the airport or the White House. We're looking to the west. We can't see anything. It's United 53. You working a guy?
No.
United 253, excuse me. Nothing on him?
No.
Okay, give me a call if you see anything, will you?
All right,
thank you.
Colonel, you doing anything you need? We need to gather up this paramedic equipment and move it. What do we got going on? There's an aircraft coming, they think. That's what I thought. What do you want us to do? Everybody, let's go. Move down. All right. Move it into triage. What's up, bro? You got it, right? Really good gear. You got another one, bro? Possible.
You need to read this. Region Commander has declared that we can shoot down tracks that do not respond to our direction. Okay? Okay.
I am on an access road to Washington Boulevard off of 395 on the west side of the Pentagon, the side that was hit. Just waiting on this plane. The State Department. Sorry, what? A plane has hit the State Department. That's what I just heard.